Kia ora team, Noel Willoff here. Thanks so much for tuning into today's episode. But there's one important thing I want to say before you watch this video. I've noticed that over 91% of you who watch our content on YouTube do not subscribe to the podcast. My promise to you is if you subscribe to the podcast, I'll continue to get more of the guests on that you love and make sure that this conversation and this podcast grows to new levels. So please hit that subscribe button. Secondly, a massive shout out to our official sponsor of the podcast, Moana Road. If you want to save some cash and get some of their awesome gears, head to their website and plug in BTS20 and you'll get 20% off all of their products. Save some cash, support the podcast. Hope you enjoyed this conversation. Corin, bro.
Mr. Noah.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back, bro. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I think it's been a couple of years. You were episode number 9.
Wow.
Most highly anticipated repeat guest ever. So we're here, bro.
What episode are we on now?
64,
Holy
I believe.
hecker.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay. Yeah.
New studio.
New studio. It looks great.
Thanks, bro.
We are truly beyond the surface at this point.
We are beyond the surface. And stoked to have you back on, bro. So
Thank you, brother.
just for everyone listening, Corin was episode number 9. The first episode that we did together was just before your debut, King in the Ring.
Just after.
Just after?
Yeah,
Just after. I guess between now and then, you've fought on King of the Ring again. You've done many fights sort of in between that as well. And more recently, you've just come back from the N1 Hype Oceania / Russian Global fight show, which happened in Thailand with Dan Hooker. So
yes, indeed.
A lot has happened, bro. So lots to rip into.
Yeah. Life's been a bit of a fever dream this year, but apparently I'm good at catching colds. So I'm sorry.
You heard it from the man. So, bro, I reckon so many people want to hear about this N1 Hype sort of fight show. Take us back. Like, I think first maybe for people, because it's quite a unique fight promotion. You're fighting in like this warehouse in Thailand. It basically looked like Fight Club Brad Pitt styles, even more hearty. But yeah, tell people who aren't familiar with it, bro. Like, what even was that show and why was it so unique?
I think it was unique in terms of from them having the fight day and starting the cohort of getting a fight show together. It was like 2 weeks. So they done everything and put everything together within a 2-week span. So they got 32 guys, 2 guys being from New Zealand. They hit up like all these influential Instagram, TikTok guys to promote it. One of them, obviously, including Dan Hooker. Yeah.
And Jimmy Jackson.
Jimmy Jackson was there.
Yeah. Kiwi legend.
Yes, indeed. There was a few. There was a few of them. And essentially, we just went over and we fought the best Russians that they had to offer in Thailand. So, and it was like a 1-minute Grand Prix. So essentially, it was 1-minute fights, 4-ounce gloves, and then whoever wins gets 5 fights, and then once you lose, you're out. So it was a Russian King of the Ring, I guess you could say.
A Russian King of the Ring.
In a way.
Shit, bro. And what was the prize money? Was it 10K US?
Yes.
Wow. So like 20 grand NZD, basically.
I think when we calculated it was like 17 like at the time. But yeah.
Mate, you got some massive kahunas, eh? Like, and I was saying it when I picked you up to do this podcast. I remember being at work, my corporate job on like a Friday or whatever, and just seeing your stories over in Thailand, like chasing the dream with Dan Hooker. The other Kiwi bro, what's his name again? Alejandro, yeah, he's a beast. And just being like, man, Corin's like that's a story you'll tell the grandkids one day, bro.
It definitely will. You'd tell most of the story. You would definitely tell most of the story.
80%.
Yeah. Maybe 60% of the
60.
story. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But it was, like I said, it was an absolute fever dream for a fighter. Like, it was literally Dan, he hit a couple people up in his circle, but none of them were that keen, apparently. True. Allegedly. I don't know too much about it. And then he posted on this, New Zealand Muay Thai forum, right? And it was just like, hey, I'm going to Thailand, 1-minute fights, essentially 5 fights. Is anyone keen? And then I was working with my old man, helping him with the job. We were painting a house at the time. And I was like, yo, Dan just posted this. And Dad was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I've already messaged him. So see what happens. And so I messaged him, didn't hear from him for like an hour. And then I was like, hey, bro, like, saw your post. I'll be keen if the opportunity's still there. And he was like, are you keen? And I was like, yeah, bro. Like, I'm keen. He's like, have you got a passport? And I was like, yeah, bro. He's like, send it. Sent it. Didn't hear from him for like a couple hours. Went to training, did training, whatever. And then after training, he messaged back and he was like, sweet, bro, your ticket's booked. We're off tomorrow. I was like, sweet ass, brother, I'll pack a bag.
That is crazy.
And then so found out on the Monday and then we left Tuesday night.
Crazy, bro. What I'm keen to get into is like, what's your mindset? Like, I guess even like not. We'll go to what it was like when you're about to fight, but what makes you step out into that like unknown space of being like, yeah, I'll go over to Thailand, fight some of the baddest people on the planet with Dan Hooker, and like really challenge myself. Like, are you like second guessing sending that DM to Dan Hooker, or are you like, nah, let's go?
I honestly, at the time, I didn't second guess it at all. I literally saw it, was like, yo, that sounds like fun. Sweet as. And then all of a sudden...
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. And it was, when I was kind of talking to him, he was like saying, nah, like, I reckon most of them will be bums. Most of them, like, they'll be tuk-tuk drivers, like, for sure. And I was like, sweet, nah, all good. And then we got there on the Wednesday, and then, like, had a few days of training. We ended up going to Bangtao. It was real cool. Bangtao was awesome. Like, Bangtao was so crazy. Seeing that, you know, just the level of guys in there all at once from all around the world, you know, same as obviously anywhere in Phuket, anywhere in Thailand, it's all international guys, you know, mainly from obviously Russia. And we got there on the Saturday, weighed in, whatever. And then as we're kind of looking around, all me and Alejandro saw was Islamic beards and broken noses. And I didn't really say anything, you know, I was just being me, like pretty blasé about everything, just fucking, just like smiling at everyone, just happy to be there, just like, bro, let's just fucking have some fun. And then probably like an hour passed and Alejandro was like, bro, the competition's pretty fierce, bro. And I was like, gee, where the fuck are we right now in this random ass Thailand fucking warehouse about to scrap out essentially because all of them from either Russia or one of the stans, whatever stans there are. How many stans? Too many stans, right? And all of them had kind of migrated to Thailand to train and fight full time, right? And then I had just obviously fought in King of the Ring, what was it, like 3 weeks beforehand. Alejandro had just fought in the Lights Out series with the 1 9-minute round, like 2 weeks beforehand. So we've both kind of just been chilling. So we came off the couch and fought essentially the best Russians in the world.
Bro, that is...
And it was an experience and a half. I was pretty nervous rocking up to the event just because... I was pretty nervous rocking up to the event. And then the cohorts and everything. And then they had these 3 Thai guys wrapping everyone up. So wrapping the 32 guys up. And the wrap was literally like a little bit of fucking sellotape. And then they taped it back so your knuckles were still showing. And then I just like had these wraps on and I was like, okay. This is kind of cool. And the first fight happened. And then I was literally the second fight. I was the second fight. I was like, okay.
Oh, right. Did you get told your order of sequence?
No.
So, and I think for the people who aren't or like didn't see this on Instagram, it went pretty viral. But the setup of the fight show was that it was actually literally in a warehouse in Thailand. There's no ring. The ring is just, I guess, the fighters, basically, like the spectators, camera people, and Dan Hooker on the side with a microphone yelling crazy shit.
Yeah.
And then there's just like some foam on the ground. That's literally it.
And that was literally it.
So no ring, no nothing, warehouse, mats, and just people standing around in a circle watching you throw down.
Sounds about right. Yep. A quick way to sum it up.
So when you're getting, I'm just keen to go back to when you're getting your hands wrapped, because there's 32 fighters. They've all got beards. They've all got broken noses. I remember seeing Jimmy Jackson's Instagram story. One of the guys had like a scary as fuck like spiral eye tattoo.
Yeah.
And then I see the bro Corin standing next to all these guys, and like you just look dialed. But I'm like, man, if that was me, I'd be walking straight out of there.
Yeah, it literally felt like the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
yeah. Like lined us up, bro. They lined us
out
up
to slaughter.
Yeah, literally. And then like it was like, sweet boys, you got 1 minute, go hard.
And when you're getting your hands wrapped, it's not like you're in your own fight room and it's like a personal experience. You've got the person that you might potentially be fighting right next to you. You guys are all lined up.
Yeah.
What's that like? You look at, is everyone like, is the vibes good?
Well, no one spoke English, so we were all like, and I for sure don't speak Russian, so it was just a bit of a language barrier. But there was, it was quite interesting because, as you know me, we've been friends for a long time. Like I'm quite, I wouldn't say placid, but out of a one night, obviously fighting, that one night you're locked in. Yeah. But out of that, I feel like I'm a pretty mellow person, right? And I don't like. I don't want to say I'm a violent person, but
you're not like a stereotypical fighter.
Yeah.
If you think of what like a fighter is, you think like quite macho.
Yeah.
Quite standoff, quite intimidating.
Yes.
You're like one of the most down to earth people I know, bro.
And I think like where a lot of those guys that were in that, they heard their fucking like that walk about them. They're like, yeah, I'm the man. I'm here to win. Blah blah blah. But it's just like, man, bro, it's 1 minute. Who cares, bro? Yeah. Who cares? Let's just have some fun. Let's go in there and just fucking put on a show, right? And there was this one guy, unsure where he was from. He looked Tongan. Like, I was like, damn, like, yo, like, are you from New Zealand, bro? And he was like, but like, he was the only one that when I looked at him and I smiled at him, he smiled back and was like, "What's up, bro? What's up, bro?" Everyone else was like,
stone cold.
Yeah, stone cold as. And then he ended up being the guy, bro. He had this crazy like Lakers fit, like had a Lakers singlet, Lakers shorts. He had this like, he had this real cool beanie on that was like obviously like from his country, and it was like, yo, like if I was Islamic, man, like I would love to wear that beanie. But it's just like obviously I can't because I'm not Muslim or whatever. And he was the one that went viral. Like I think it got like 6 million views or something. And he was crazy, bro. And it was just like, and I think that just goes to show, like, just because you can go to that place inside that moment when you're completely present, outside of that moment doesn't mean you have to be a dick, right? Like, literally, the best person in that room was just as happy as me to be there. And, like, that kind of put it into perspective for me because who cares, bro? Like, who cares? Like, there's no, especially when it's an event like that. I remember we were doing, like, a little bit of content the night before on the Friday, and the main promoter guy that was putting it on, like, they were doing, like, Dan and a couple others were doing some content for him. And he was like, we want tomorrow to be, like, Project X. And me and the bro Alejandro were like, what did he just say, bro? What did he just say? And man, I can tell you those Russians, if you're trying to party, bro, they're the ones to go to because they made it like Project X, man. It was crazy. It was crazy.
So what was the environment like inside the warehouse? Obviously all you boys going to war, 1 minute rounds, MMA gloves. Is it like because he's like a DJ there? Yes. Is it like, are they spectators?
Shout out Brig Gang. Shout out Brig Gang. Those guys, they're fucking awesome. They're so much fun.
Man. So what's the vibe in there? Is it just focused on the fighting? Is there spectators? Can you pay to get in?
Nah, it was like a private event. Like it was pretty, I guess you could say it was like quite an influential event. And it was my first time kind of in an event like that, It was my first time fighting internationally.
It's crazy, man.
And what was the question, sorry?
Just like what was the vibe like inside the event?
Spectators. Honestly, I was having I was kind of chilling. They were playing music, setting up, like they were revving up the bikes real hard because they had all these like luxury cars. It was real buzzy, bro. They had like the whole stadium set up, like the lights and everything. Like they actually put on a proper show, like it was it genuinely felt like a proper show.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, like
Wasn't some like gimmick,
Nah,
like budget
nah.
fight promotion
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Like there's that it was an actual show and an actual event, right? But it was just crazy at the same time.
Do you think it's do you think like that's an example of like how the fight game's kind of changing? Like instead of, because it was really focused on like social media. That's how I saw that fight promotion. Like there was no live stream. I feel like it was kind of set up in a way for those like viral knockouts. I think it was so successful in doing that too.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Like, do you think that's like a little shift in like how different fight promotions are sort of trying to like ramp up engagement to be a lot more like aligned to social media and clicks and stuff?
Yeah, I think exactly that. And I think it was definitely it was definitely just try to go viral as most viral as you can. And for me, not really like I couldn't care less if something went viral or not. Like I just do it because it's fun. Like, like whether people watch it or whether people don't watch it, I'm still doing it, right? So for me to be in that kind of environment and pretty blasé, like a super blasé to everything that was kind of happening around me, and just trying to be myself because that's who I am, right? Like I just like to be as authentically myself as I can, and to rub shoulders with those guys that have a lot of influence and that have a lot of and then just being like, wow, like they're just normal people.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't speak their language, like if you can conversate with them, or not necessarily, I guess, break the ice in a way and try and get out their like happy side and like their good side, and then all of a sudden you're having fun. Like that's, for me, it was just a bit of fun. It was just a bit of fun. Yeah, so it was cool to be in Thailand, experience Thailand, first time in Thailand, which was
how did you find it, bro? How was Thailand?
Crazy place, bro.
What's your reflections on that place as a country?
When we got there, it was raining, so we were like, oh, okay, we've just come from a I think there was like there was like a cyclone that came through New Zealand, right? So we're like, oh shit, we brought the cyclone with us, and then the rain faded off, and it was like, it was summertime in fucking in Thailand.
Man. So when you land there, bro, you're like traveling with Dan Hooker. What's it like? I guess day to day, spending time with him. Is he what's he like as a sort of personality?
Yeah, well, obviously because he's injured at the moment, right? Like he's got a bit of a hand injury, so he was kind of on just downtime mode, like nothing too crazy. But it actually really surprised me at how like disciplined he was, even though he had the injury. Like we landed, we got to the villa, and it was a real nice villa, and he was like, sweet boys, like obviously it's still raining, it stopped raining, but this is probably your time to go for a run now, because anything from here, it's going to be way too hot to run. So he was like pretty still locked in. He was like, no, you guys are fucking, putting New Zealand on the map here. We need to be still training, right? So we landed the Wednesday, went for a run, came back to the villa, and bro, he had us like shadow boxing, and then we were like kind of playing around, and like, he was teaching us some stuff, and it was actually real cool to like just have that knowledge from him, and it was just to see, even though when he is out of camp, essentially, injured, essentially, and how you can see why he's at that level, because he's so just always trying to push. He's always trying to, like, he had us in the pool. He was like doing some pool workouts with us, bro. It was crazy. He was cooking us food and shit. It was wicked, bro.
Damn.
Yeah.
Camp Dad.
It surprised me, man.
Dan Hooker, eh?
Yeah, bro. No, so he was like, it was real cool to just realize that these guys are human, I guess. Because obviously someone like Dan, like, he kind of inspired me with that first fight in the UFC where, like he had his knee completely shattered, like ACL completely shattered, but still fought through and then got the finish, in front of the Auckland crowd. Like that moment for me, like I think it was like year 9, like 13, and being like seeing that and being like, oh my God, like Kiwis can do it, like New Zealanders can do this. Yeah. And seeing that, and then just how far everything has come from that moment, 2014 to now, what's that? Fucking 11 years. And he's just put a stamp on the world as a Kiwi, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely led the way, eh? It's
Yeah.
pretty legendary. So do you think what did you learn from Dan Hooker then while you were over there spending time with him? Anything in particular? Any like key takeaways that you bring back home?
It's good to be serious, but don't take life too seriously. Yeah, I reckon. And especially with Thailand being Thailand, it's just such a crazy experience, and especially with when you're hanging out with these guys that can essentially, they've got a lot of money, right? Like
These
like
the
money's
Russian
not an
guys.
issue. Yeah. And I'm just a fucking kid from Kapiti, right? Like, so just, and then realizing that, okay, yes, they have this influence and they have this money, but still, everyone's still down to earth. Like, if you can crack them in a way where you can, I guess, make them laugh or, you know, like agree upon something, you're always, it's not that deep. It's not that deep.
Smile while you still have teeth. I think
Exactly
that was like Dan
that,
Hooker's
exactly
Instagram
that.
bio, eh?
Is that one of his bios? I
think-
missed that one.
I think it used to be. It's a good way to sort of sum up probably his mentality and stuff, eh? So like when you landed there too, you had like a few big nights. Like you'll be pretty excited.
No, yeah. So Dan, like, I was real surprised, because like obviously everyone talks about how like wild that guy is and whatnot, but he was like, "Nah, sweet boys, like, yeah, we're here to train, we're here to lock in." So the Wednesday, obviously, we landed, went for a run, came back, shadow boxed in the pool and whatnot, pretty chill. And then Thursday, he took us to Bangtao, and Bangtao was crazy, man. Like, just the atmosphere that place produces, I guess. But and then the same with Tiger Muay Thai. We didn't get to train at Tiger Muay Thai, but we were there.
Check it out.
Yeah. So that was crazy too. And I think it was, because they had us do this private with like one of their best boxing coaches that they had at Bangtao.
Man.
So we had this private with one of their best boxing coaches. That was wicked experience, and it was just like sweaty as, because it's obviously so hot in Thailand. Like,
Crazy.
yeah, it was, bro. It
Good
was
way to cut some
crazy
weight,
as.
eh?
Yeah, one way to cut weight. I think before I jumped on the plane from Wellington to Auckland, I checked my weight and I was like 79. I was like, oh, like you got to weigh in under 77. And then woke up that Thursday and I was like 76.5.
Far
you
out.
know, like, and obviously you're supposed to like through like long flights like that, like you hold a lot of water and you get quite like inflamed and stuff. So you can hold on to that water, but I guess just because it's so hot there and you're just constantly sweating and you're constantly perspirating,
100%.
it just dropped real easy. So none of us had to. And then Alejandro, he was like 72 kg, so it was
nice.
easy as.
That boy's got some hands, eh?
That boy got hands,
That boy's
son.
got hands.
That Colombian got hands, man.
It was crazy to watch. Yeah, what a beast that
Yeah,
kid
bro.
is.
And like, especially just because there were a lot of guys that were kind of on that 70 to 72 mark, but so like at first when we first landed, he was like, "Fuck, I'm probably gonna be the smallest guy there," and I was like, "Bro, I don't think you will be." Like, and he wasn't, you know, and obviously he was probably the most fucking dangerous guy in that room. So apart from obviously big not so Tongan, whatever his name was, I forgot.
Allahu Akbar. That
Yeah,
guy, eh?
I just didn't want to say that. God is great though. God is great. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that guy looks scary, bro.
Yeah, man.
Because he had the viral clip that
Yes. Yeah.
went massive, and he's just looking down the barrel of the camera, just tensing, going, Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah. And I think
You're in a
especially
crazy
for-
circle, bro. You're in a crazy circle.
Bro, that's the circle of life, man.
You're in a crazy circle.
And I think especially for Alejandro, I think that kind of setup or that style of madness works so well for him, because like he just wants to get in there and fucking bang, and so do I. And I, I was in there, and then so I won my first fight, and then the second fight, as per usual, same as King of the Ring, I ended up fighting the winner, and I was pretty gutted with at the time I wasn't gutted, because I was like, yo, like we're just fucking here to have fun. But then they uploaded the second fight, and I was like, oh my God, that fight was so poo, bro. Like, it just wasn't anything. And I'm like, went to Hawke's Bay with a few of my friends just last weekend, and they uploaded the footage, and I was like, being such a sourpuss about the fight. And they're like, bro, like, why are you being like so sad about it? It's like, because it's a fucking boring fight, bro. Like, there's nothing worse than boring fights for me. So like, for me being in I don't think I've ever been in a boring fight.
No.
I think that was my first time ever being in a boring fight, and I was like, man, boring fights suck, man.
What do you think went wrong? What could you have done better?
I had my nose broken in November, because I got jumped.
Yeah, we'll touch on that as well.
Yeah, we'll get there. And then I had my nose broken again when was King of the Ring? Whenever King of the Ring was.
Like 3 weeks before,
Yeah.
4 weeks before, eh?
January, February, March.
Yeah.
And so I had my nose broken again then. And then it was like the second, because it was like 3 weeks after, in the second fight, it was like the lightest tap and my nose broke again.
2 times the
And
charm.
and then I remember being like, damn it. And then, because he was like real in and out, like that Russian Soviet style of like, jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. And it's just like, fucking, let's, but at the same time, obviously it's in the past and I didn't throw either. So I just didn't capitalize on the moment, essentially. And sometimes shit just happens like that. So it was still a good night though.
Do you get hyper fixated on your fights, like in reflection? Like, are you like a perfectionist in that way, bro? Where you like look back at that 1 minute round and just like see everything that you didn't do, and that just really annoys you?
Yeah, I think so, and especially, I think it's more like during camps that I kind of lock into old footage and stuff, just because you're trying to find your flaws, you're trying to see what you can work on, what you do wrong compared to what you do right now.
Yeah.
But out of camp, it's just like, I've been, my first fight I was like 13 years old. I'm 25 now, so it's just like kind of just another day in the office. But yeah, I'd say in camp, yes. Out of camp, somewhat. Yeah.
What was your mindset like, bro, heading up to that fight card in Thailand? Like, what are you telling yourself to like combat those nerves?
It's just 1 minute. It's just 1 minute.
Is that all you're saying?
It's
saying to
just
yourself?
1 minute. Quite literally. Yep. I was quite nervous the Friday night because we got done with all the content. Big promoter was like, it's gonna be Project X, and then I was like, bro, what the fuck is that? Like,
crazy.
Damn. And then I didn't get to sleep till like 3 a.m. because I was like, oh shit, we're in it now. Like, we are in it now. And then we got to the event. I was like, okay, nah, sweet, it's fine. Like, it's just another event. Like, it's just another fight promotion. Like, it's just another day. Be present, have fun, be you. And I was. Yeah.
So are those the things that you're telling yourself? And like, do you have confidence in your, like, is what really stops the nerves, is it more so the confidence that you have in your own abilities? Like, do you feel going in there, you're like, you know that you're capable of like taking this thing out, or going really far in it? Like, what are you saying to yourself to fight those feelings? Because I'm just thinking for myself and probably anyone else listening to this podcast, the concept of like traveling to a random country, fighting in like a warehouse in Thailand versus a bunch of people from a different country that like want to kill you.
Have essentially, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a few murderers in there.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, dude, that would just basically paralyze anyone else, including me. I'd be like, man, I'm just gonna get slept in the first round, like, or I'm tapping out. Like, how do you defeat that voice in your head? Is there a voice that comes up to you and it's like, what if you get clipped, man?
Yeah.
Like, and I think especially with a fight promotion like that, they're so big on social media. That's almost more risky because the risk of becoming a meme is huge, or turning someone else into a meme, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for.
Yes.
So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How do you fight that little voice, bro?
I mean, at the time, because it all happened so fast, I wasn't thinking about any of that. Like, none of I wasn't thinking about it going viral. I wasn't thinking about it people using it for a platform. I was literally like, damn, 5 days in Thailand? Say less, bro. Say less. Like, bro, and I don't have to pay? Okay.
Sure.
What? And I get to fight 1 minute fights and essentially I'm fighting the best in the world, bro. Like, if I didn't have comfortability in my own skin, and I don't want to say, I guess confidence in my own ability of like, I wouldn't have obviously done that, but I did. And obviously I was kind of running off King of the Ring, that hype of King of the Ring, and just tried to, and I just tried to run with it, you know? So, and yeah, took the ball, passed it to Alejandro, and he fucking sprinted with it.
Yeah, man. You're that's epic. It's just inspiring, bro. Like I remember just being at work and being like, fuck, I got so much energy from seeing you out there just like put it all on the line and go chase your dream.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, that's what life is about. So
Yeah.
taking those opportunities.
And I think especially looking back on it, and especially that trip, because there was obviously thousands of people hitting up Dan, like thousands of people way better than, hundreds of people way better than me.
Yeah. Why do you think he chose you boys?
I think it was just a first in, first serve kind of thing. And then, but looking back at it, I honestly don't think anyone else, apart from me and Alejandro, would have fitted in so well, or as well as we did, and adapted as well as we did, because both of us really did adapt, because literally every hour we were there, we were like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like either me or him, every hour of that trip, we were there for 5 days. One of us were like, bro, what the fuck is going on right now?
Oh, it's cool you guys are on the same wavelength. Like that would have made the whole experience much better.
Yeah, for sure. I remember because I was flying with Dan on the way there, and I was like, is there anyone else from New Zealand going? And he was just like, oh, just one, Alejandro from TMT. And I was like, oh, yo.
Did you know him?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. He's quite a well-known guy, you know. Never kind of interacted with him or trained with him before, but we've always known each other, you know, like messaged Instagram, blah, blah, blah. And because he was supposed to be on that flight, the flight we were on, but the flight was full, so they had to put him on. So he found out like the Monday night, and then Dan sent him a text at like 9 p.m. being like, oh, yo, your flight's at 6 a.m. Is that all good? And then he was like, sweet, bro. So he was already on the flight before we were. He was already in Thailand before we got there at the villa. And I was like, fuck, I'll message this guy just so he knows someone else is along with him, you know, just because obviously it's like, yo, what the fuck? All of a sudden I'm in Thailand. So I was like, fuck, I'll message him, let him know that I'm coming too, just so he's like, okay, I'm not alone. Like, yeah, I'm not just doing this excursion by myself. So, and he was like, oh, sweet G, that's us. We'll see you soon. And then, he's a fucking cool dude, bro. He's a real cool dude. It was good to spend time. And like I said, like, I think the experiences we had between the three of us, like, we'll all take that to the grave, you know? So, like I said, I don't think anyone could have fitted in better than me and the bro. For that moment. Yeah.
Did you feel much pressure, I guess, having, I don't want to say like the weight of a nation on your shoulders, but you were definitely there representing New Zealand.
Shit.
Did you feel any of that sort of coming in?
Honestly, nah. Just because it was such a trip. Like, it was just such a, what the fuck is going on?
It's like a fight holiday, eh?
I guess, it really was. It really was. And, so big up N1Bet for getting us over there. Not that, I'm about it too much, but yeah, they really sussed us out, and obviously Dan sussed us out. Like, N1Bet was looking after Dan, and then Dan was looking after us, kind of thing. So that was pretty cool, and just to have that experience and go see Thailand, you know, especially Phuket, and just go have some fun.
Crazy, dude. What was the after party like? What happened afterwards after it all wrapped up? Because Alejandro, he went pretty far, eh? Did he go semis?
He got to the semis. Yep. So he had 4 fights. Damn, 4 fights. I had 2, so I won my first one, and then I don't know if we've said it already, but I came up against the winner. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
the Corin curse. You always
it seems to be. It seems to be the case of I can only apparently I can only fucking fight the best. So must be saying something, I guess.
So what was the after party like? Like, what happened after formalities? Do you guys sort of kick on with Dan Hooker? What did that look like?
Yeah, we were they took us around Phuket. We were chilling with these two Aussie guys from Australia, the TJs, Bread Gang, and we were just having fun with them. And they were essentially videoing all the stuff that me and Alejandro were getting up to with them.
Man.
So I'm not too sure when. I think they're gonna drop a little fucking documentary too, and yeah, so that'll be one to look out for with the old Bread Gang TV. So that'll be fun. That'd be fun.
Do they film you guys just at the after party? Or?
Yeah, like we went to like a couple places, and yeah, no, it was fun times. It was fun times.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Nice. What has it been like coming back home to NZ? I think we spoke about it on the way here. Like, you've just come off such a huge high, probably two massive highs of King of the Ring, then this.
Yep.
How are you finding like settling back into normality back home at the Kapiti Coast?
I've been on holiday mode all year.
Man.
I remember I was in Rotorua at the start of the year, and on my last day, I remember thinking, I'm gonna take the holiday mindset into this year, and you know, obviously, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess it's. Hold on, I'm losing my train of thought. Fuck.
Holiday mode, Rotorua earlier this year.
Yeah, earlier this year, and I was like, I'm gonna take the holiday mindset into the year, and I don't think I've traveled as much in my life as I have in these last 4 months, for good things and bad things, right? Like, all aspects of the worst things that could happen in life and the best things that could happen in life have all happened to me in these last 5 months. Like I've said, some things that I don't really want to touch on in this has happened to me, and it happened to people around me, including my whānau, including my friends. To sum it up, death in ways that shouldn't have happened. And I've been thinking about this a lot, of where I want to, if I do want to touch on it, because it is such a, these two things are so common, but doesn't get talked about. So I've been kind of struggling, and I'm in an R these last couple of days of if I do want to touch on it, but we're here, so I might as well. And that first one being family violence, and how real that is, and how often it happens in New Zealand, and how often no one talks about it. And that, because the reason no one talks about it is because you don't think it would happen to you or your family until it does. Until
take your time, bro.
Yeah. Essentially, someone in my family passed away in November due to family violence. She was killed by her partner. And for me, you know, I love life, right? Like, everything I see, I want to do that is either something funny or something happy or something fun, right? But the reality is it can't. Life's not like that all the time. So, for that to happen to my family, to that person that happened to, that we've lost, and we fucking dearly miss every single day, think about it every day, especially for her kids to have to think about it every day, is heartbreaking. And it's not, it's just like I guess it's a stigma of New Zealand, of, you know, like, that will never happen to me. And I think it's a true problem, particularly here, particularly in the lower demographic of people, Māori, you know, people that are living hard out there, you know, like having to, they've gained all this trauma, and then they don't have somewhere to release that. So said person, male or female, there's no difference, take that upon themselves to put that on their partner, to put hands on their partner, And I just don't know how you could even get to a place like that.
Mm.
And I guess it's just such a real thing here, and it's happening, and it's probably happening to people you know.
Mm.
You know, what happens behind closed doors, no one knows at home.
Yeah.
And they might put on a smile, they might put on a front, they'll put makeup on, but underneath, they'll be bruised up, they'll be crying in bed. And then one day they'll be dead, bro.
Mm.
And so for that, to go through that for my whānau was the craziest shit ever. The most ungodly, personal grief. And, yeah, it was a crazy time, bro. It was a crazy time. And I think for males particularly, if you are having to go to those ways of settling an argument by putting hands on your partner, there's got to be something better. I don't want to be, it's kind of hard for me because I don't want to be a spokesperson, but here I am on a podcast. And I guess it's just more the fact because it's happened to me.
Yeah,
you know,
you
like
speak your truth, bro.
Yeah, exactly that. It's just because it's the truth.
Mm.
Like, it's not me just bullshitting. Like, this is real life events for real life people. You know. And I think it's a lot of things that could go into there. Obviously, drug use. Obviously, trauma that they've brought up. Obviously, brought up in lower demographics. But that's no excuse.
No, it's not.
That's no excuse at all. So I think for things to change, we have to put things in place for them to change at the same time, right? So what does that mean? What does that do? How do we do that? How do we give these males that are angry, that are fucked up, that have no push or drive to get through to the next day, how do we stop that? How do we help them? Because it's not as easy as just talking to someone when they're physically violent with the said person, male or female. So I guess that's where martial arts comes into play, right? And being in the gym, you know, like, just there's nothing better than fucking getting the pad head out, right? So I think, fuck, man, such a touchy subject, and it's hard not to get angry or get upset or frustrated and see the fine lining, I guess. But, bro, just go fucking punch a bag, man.
Yeah.
Don't fucking punch your missus, bro.
I can't, bro, just like, firstly, thanks for like opening up and using this platform to, cause we also haven't ever spoken about, you know, family violence before, and it's fucking huge in New Zealand. And just want to say how like fucking sorry I am that happened to your whānau, man. Like, that's, I can't even imagine the journey of grief you would go through. First alone, losing your family member, but also knowing that it was at the hands of another person. Take your time, bro. Take your time. It's and I think it's just horribly fucked up that people don't have those tools, and it's not.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. It's a lack of tools.
Yeah.
It's all this pent up emotion that you've got nowhere to release it to.
But balancing that like grief with anger, is so hard to navigate, bro. And I know, you've been going through all of this shit this past like 5 months, in between fight camps and still showing up. And I don't know how you're doing it, bro, but it's awesome to see you just being such a strong force for your family. And I'm sure a lot of people in your family look up to you in that way. Um,
And it's just such a buzzy one for me because I don't see myself like that. I'm just, bro, I just fucking, I love martial arts. I love putting on a show. Like, that's just how it is for me. I've never really been, like, obviously when I don't train, I get a bit fucking weird, but I've never had that issue where I've felt like I've needed to hurt someone because of it. Like, but that's because I've been training since I was 12 years old, and that's all I've known pretty much, right? Like, but for these people, for these guys that don't have that luxury of myself being in, you know, being supported through the gym, through life, in whatever avenue, these guys that essentially have nothing, no one to rely on, no one to show them what is right and what is wrong. They just know what they've been brought up to know. So is it a generational thing? Maybe. Is it a systematic thing? Could be. But at the end of the day, you're the one that controls what you do.
100%.
So for you to do something that could physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually abuse someone, hurt someone, maybe it's not their fault. Maybe you're just fucked up, bro. So something needs to change. We need to give this rangatahi, I guess, show them what's right and what's wrong, I guess. But how? How?
It's just disgusting, eh? It's like the most cowardly act anyone could probably ever do. Especially as a man taking the life of a woman, your partner who they should trust with you. I just think that's the most like scum of the earth piece of shit. Like, and I hope he just gets like, because you can say all of this stuff around, and I'm sure a lot of it is true around this whole intergenerational, you know, like probably his, you know, he was probably around that growing up. Who knows? But it's like what you said. It's no fucking excuse. You're your own person. You're in control of your own destiny, and you just fucking took away someone else's destiny. It's disgusting, bro. And I think, especially for a lot of young men, it's like having positive male role models around you early, like that.
Yes.
If you don't have that, if you don't see another male figure in your life that is, has a positive influence on you or others, I just think you just follow this terrible life trajectory, and you just sort of spiral down, and it comes down to like power and control, because you're just eager and hungry for like power, and you're such a cow. You're not powerful in circles with other males or other men, but you feel like you are in front of someone you can overpower, like, you know, your partner, and you feel like that makes you strong. So it's just disgusting, bro. It's absolutely disgusting, eh? But yeah, right. There needs to be some more tools, eh?
There needs to be more tools,
and more people. Because I think you said it really nicely at the start, eh? Because especially, like, man, we're filming this in Porirua. Like, this is happening every day. And I'm sure there's people out there right now that could, unfortunately, be, like, future victims of, like, family violence and homicides, which is what it is, murder. And finding those ways to support those, like, the woman, because that's what we should focus on here as well, to like healthily exit as well, like how not that it's up to the woman to do that. It's the man which is causing the problem. But like, it's such a tricky thing to navigate.
Yep. And there are, you know, obviously Women's Refuge. There's that, and big ups to those guys.
It's amazing services out there.
Yeah, for real. And there are services, but it's just that situation of not reaching out.
Yeah, it's tough, eh? And then
because
sometimes it's just too late. It's too late. And it's like, what can we do to make sure men aren't fucking doing this?
Exactly. And I think it's just because it's not like it's a it's not like it's a new topic. It's not like something. This isn't new. This has been going, Once Warriors, right? Like they've made movies about this, particularly in New Zealand. Like it's such a big problem. It's such a big problem in New Zealand, and obviously other countries too, but particularly here, where people, they just don't. Yeah, I guess they just don't have the role models or the right tools to navigate life in a non-violent way because they haven't been shown that light. They haven't been shown what way to go. And you could blame the Babylon, you could blame the system on that. But that can only get you so far because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, man. So like, we've just got to. I don't know. Maybe we need to fucking brainstorm some ideas, bro.
Yeah.
We need to. Yeah, fuck. I don't know. But yeah, that was crazy time. November,
bro. Yeah, fucking.
I just don't want to touch too much because obviously
100%,
so much in that.
100%,
keeping people safe and whatnot.
How have you personally, like, I guess, navigated that grief? Because there's so many. It's grief. It's anger. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, it's everything.
What have you done to like navigate that those feelings, bro, in your own life when you've got all this other shit going on?
For sure. I think so that happened in November, and then a week later.
Is this the assault? Oh my god, bro! You've had a fucking.
It was my cousin's engagement party, and essentially I got fucking put in a corner by off-duty security guards. And they thought it was in their right mind to, instead of just being like, hey, we're off-duty security guards, you're kind of throwing up in the bathroom right now. Can you please leave?
Yeah.
I would have been like, yo, sweet as, bro. I'm so sorry. Like, obviously, I'm a plastic guy. Like, if he talks to me nice, I'm going to be nice. But, so it's... So I actually don't know if I can talk about this because it's still going through the courts.
Yeah, okay, let's
nah,
not touch
fuck
on
him, bro. Fuck him.
No, let's...
Nah, we just won't mention any names. We won't mention any names.
Okay. I don't want
because I actually don't know any names. I genuinely don't know any names. I don't know who they were. They were just some randoms. It was just a super unlucky position. So a week after that whole logistics, it was my other cousin's engagement party. And they were getting married in Raro. So they were like, okay, we'll go to this cocktail bar in Palmerston North. So we went to this cocktail bar in Palmerston North. We'd been there. They actually run this like CrossFit classes that they do for like Māori. It's real cool. It's called Hiwa. If you're in Palmerston North, check them out, Hiwa. They're such an awesome environment, cool crew, and they ran a CrossFit competition on that day. So like we were like doing CrossFit and we were like, like having some fun through the day. And then we got to the cocktail bar at like 6 p.m. Private function up until 1 a.m. And then 1:15, I was like, damn, I like need to go piss. I'm gonna go piss. Went to go piss, walked into the toilet, and I was like, oh my god, I'm about to throw up, but couldn't quite make it to the toilet because someone was in there. So I was like, fuck, I'll throw up in the sink.
Yeah,
and I was washing it down.
Gentleman.
Yeah, exactly.
Gentleman.
Like, what do you want me to do? Throw up on the ground?
Dude,
like,
there's best practice.
Exactly. Like, and I was being courteous about it. I was like, fuck. There's a lot of cocktails. Okay, there was a lot of cocktails. Yeah. We were celebrating. It was cousin's engagement party, like, and I was throwing up in the sink, and then all of a sudden, I get this push from behind me, and he was like, "Bro, you can't do that." I was like, "Bro, I don't want to do this. Like, what do you think I'm fucking? What, you think I'm doing this on purpose, bro? Like, come on." He's like, "Bro, you can't do that. You can't do that, bro." I was like, boom. Fell on the ground. I was like, oh, he just punched me. I start laughing because I think it's the funniest shit ever. I was like, bro, I'm throwing up. Like, why'd you punch me, man? Like, come on. And then the dude went and grabs his mates. I'm like, yo, what's going on? They're not telling me who they are. They're in mufti. So like, or town close rather.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's 1:15 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, yo, what is going on right now? Why are you guys touching me? Stop touching me. Like I don't know who you are. Stop touching me. At that point, they could have been like, bro, like we're off-duty security guards. Just
What
get
does
out.
that even mean? Off-duty security guards.
So like there were security guards working there, but they were off duty. So like they were just on the
Just
on the town.
patrons
Yeah,
on the bus.
yeah, exactly. So they worked there, but not that night.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. So they pulled me out, and they start pushing me down the stairs. And I'm like, boys, stop pushing me. Like I can walk. Stop pushing me. I feel unsafe. They keep pushing me. They keep pushing me. And then I'm just like, yo, like who are these guys?
How many of them?
At that time there was 3.
Yeah.
And then so we all like, unfortunately they fucking pushed me down the stairs. So we all come tumbling down the stairs. And I'm like, what is going on right now? One of them's already swinging on me like full tits. And then I get up. I'm like, boys, like stop. Like who the fuck are you guys? What is going on? And then one of them like grabs both my hands and I'm like, what, bro? I'm like 10 out of 10 wasted on cocktails. Like, and then one of them tries to headbutt me, misses. I laugh because I don't even like process what just happened. I was like, bro, you're just trying to headbutt me. And then like he tries to swing. I ended up like just tripping him up. The other guy swings, bro. I like come around and then they all take me outside and then all of a sudden there's like 7 or 8 security guards with just me up there. My family's still upstairs. No idea.
You're with your family.
Yeah.
You're at an engagement party.
Exactly. And like no one knows what's going on. I don't even know what's going on. And then I'm just like trying to explain my story. They're still going off. Like one of them's still trying to like get me. And I'm like, who are these guys, bro? Who are these guys? And then still trying to talk. Like I'm talking to the security guards. And like everyone that I talked to, I think I talked to like 3 or 4. And they're all like, nah, bro, you got to go. You just got to leave. And I was like, bro, my family's upstairs. Like, we paid for the fucking function.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, and they're like, nah, bro, you just got to go. You got to go, bro. And then I was still kind of, like, hanging around. And then all of a sudden, like, yeah, one of them comes back. The one that punched me in the bathroom, he comes back. And then, yeah, full sucker punch. Didn't even see it. And...
This is when you're out on the street?
Yeah, this is when I'm out on the street and I broke my nose and then he broke my nose and like I've never had a bloody nose that bad before. Didn't see it. Like the concussion from that sent me, yeah. But what was even more crazy was from start to finish, apart from the bathroom, everything was on camera.
Idiots, eh?
Like what, bro? Everything. So like yes, the next day, Sunday, like obviously like my cousins whose engagement party is, they find out what's been going on and they're like, no, like, so, and I wake up the Sunday, like, I thought it was the funniest shit ever at the time, like, bro, these guys were so dumb, like, but then I woke up in the morning and obviously my nose was broken and I was very sore. I had a very sore head and I woke up pretty pissed off, but yeah, it was not a happy chappy on the Sunday. And then we went to the cop shop and like explaining the story and everything. And I was like, fuck, maybe it didn't happen the way I thought it did. Maybe I was actually being a dumb cunt. Like, I was like, fuck. And then I started like questioning myself and I was like, damn, like I remember, I was like, fuck, did I headbutt someone? I was like, nah, surely not. I was like, fuck, maybe I did headbutt someone. Like, I just, you know, like I've never been in that kind of state before. And then a couple days later, we got the footage and I was like, oh, everything that I thought happened.
Bro.
So... yeah, that was, and then I got concussed from there, and I was, it was probably one of the worst concussions I've ever had in my life, just because I was obviously so intoxicated, and I just didn't see it. And then, you know, thinking about it, and if anyone else was in that position that was not me, they would have hospitalized someone, or they would have killed someone, because they weren't out, like, it was malicious intent, right? Like, they were there to hurt whoever.
Yeah.
And just in this case, it happened to be me. And... I think I'm super grateful that it was me rather than someone else of my, you know, because it wasn't just me that was like as wasted as I was. Like it was a couple other my cousins too. Like we had to like double hand up, like pick up one of my cousins and like chuck him in the car. Then we went back up, blah blah blah. And so you know, for him, if he was in that position,
Yeah.
they probably would have killed him
Mm.
straight up,
Mm.
straight up. So I think I'm, you know, in hindsight and looking, I guess I'm just super thankful that it was me in that position rather than anyone else.
Mm.
You know,
And
but
that's not an over exaggeration.
Nah.
From how many of them there were,
yeah,
and just swinging at you, headbutting you,
Yeah.
like trying to really put your
yeah,
lights out.
yeah. And for the people that, you know, obviously have seen the footage, like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
It's pretty crazy. It's
nuts.
pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's pretty unbelievable. Like, but yeah, it happened. It happened, and it, and it got caught in 4K. Like, what?
Karma's a mirror, eh? Well,
Yeah.
that's. I remember seeing the footage and just being so pissed off, eh? Just and like you're like smiling while it's happening, just because you're Corin. You're like, dude, you couldn't really believe what's happening
No,
at the
I
time.
genuinely couldn't. I thought they were joking. I genuinely thought they were joking.
Do you think it was like a targeted thing? Did they know you before and they were like, here's our chance to get one up?
They were
on-
just trying to prey on some dude throwing up in the bathroom sink, man.
dude, why?
Because
Like, what do you get out of that?
power tripping, man. Power
What
tripping
do you
hard.
get out of that?
I'm guessing they were definitely intoxicated. They were probably on other substances.
Mm.
And yeah, the only thing that we can kind of come to the conclusion of is that it was power tripping. It was power tripping. Yeah, they just thought they were the fucking. And then all of a sudden, some guy's laughing in their face when they punch him.
That's probably why they keep coming. at
Yeah,
you,
I
eh?
think that's
Allegedly.
probably why, bro.
Shit, dude. And
Yeah.
had you got the call up for King of the Ring at that time, or did that come after?
I think originally it was in December, but my coach, something happened because I was still like highly concussed. Like,
What
for
did they look like for you, being highly concussed?
Bro, I've actually never felt like that ever. Like, for my one and only time getting knocked out, which was the first King of the Ring, right? That was like mild, but this was like a real, like, it wrote me off. Like, it was just constant headaches, constant brain fog, like constant short temper, like super snappy, and then like not even realizing that you're snappy.
Yeah.
And then like being like, oh shit, damn, like, you know, and then being like, whoa, why am I so frustrated right now? Like, I can't think, I can't even see. Like, you know, you're like, lights are real bright. Like, it's bad, bro. Like, concussions are bad, man. And everyone's so different. Like, it's so individualistic for everyone that has some sort of head knock, you know, like even if it's like a small one for someone compared to a big one for someone else, they could essentially still have the same effect, like brain function wise. So it's also individualized, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you had many concussions?
I think I had one playing football, and it was like sort of summer's day. I was really young, and I remember I sort of fell over and hit my head on the ground.
Oh.
And I remember standing up and like sort of stumbling a bit, but didn't. And I was super young, so didn't have like too many. And it must not have been
Yeah.
that bad, like
Right.
lingering effects. But they told me to stay off screens and all of that stuff. But yeah, dude, it's scary, eh? Especially, I don't know. I always get quite worried, like with especially some of you boys, like yourself.
Yeah.
All my other mates who fight, because you only got one brain, eh? It's
You've only
It's
got
tough.
one life, brother.
You only got
one life.
you only got one life
That we know of.
that we know
That
of.
we know of.
But it's definitely challenging as like a friend and also like a big fight advocate. Like I love watching the UFC and big fight fan, but
For sure.
seeing people just get brain damage is
Yeah.
pretty tough because the
Yeah.
long-term implications are not good.
Long-term implications, indeed. Obviously, all of the stuff that's been coming out, like a BJ Penn and stuff. You know, I don't know if you've been seeing all of that, but hey, we won't touch on that. We won't touch on that, no.
he's
Above our
lo-
pay
lost
grade,
his
baby.
mind. Yeah.
above our pay. Yeah, it's definitely above our pay grade. But yeah, but concussions, man, they're gnarly. They're shit. You got to take your time. If you're concussed right now, bro, go easy on yourself. It's not an easy journey. And just like anything, it does heal, but you just got to be kind to yourself and let it run its course. And it eventually heals for most people. You know, obviously bad instances like car crashes or something like that, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, just take your time, be easy with yourself, and probably I reckon the biggest thing that helped me was I'd say first of all creatine. Creatine was like the most important, which is like a buzzy
Interesting.
one.
Why is that? Do
Yeah,
you know the
I
science
think-
behind that?
Like I think it's just because creatine helps like your brain cognitive, like your brain waves or your brain paths rather, like be a bit more faster and quicker. Like so, it like
Right.
helps with like your for an athlete's perspective, like it helps with your like explosivity and shit like that.
Yeah.
But you're also like your cognitive being, so like your hand-eye coordination and all like helps with that, and I think it just like helps with your it helps with everything really, like creatine, yeah, especially for people that have concussions. Like I did a lot of research on it, and they say that creatine is one of the most beneficial things.
Wow.
And lion's mane mushroom.
Lion's mane mushroom.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yes.
Is
Indeed.
that do you like cook it and then eat it?
Nah, you just get like little supplement packs.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was real blessed enough, especially through the King of the Ring camp, pretty much all year, of having on tap plot powders.
Plot powders.
So he's one of my sponsors, and he makes his own 100% natural, 100% New Zealand grown, and it's all natural supplements. So he's got this one called Morning Magic, and it's like lion's mane, ginger root extract, spirulina, fucking
all the good stuff.
all the good natural remedies that you need. So I just went hard on that, and then obviously creatine. But lion's mane, I think like you can just pick it up from like the warehouse, the chemist warehouse or something like that for pretty cheap, but just online too. But yeah, so if you've got a concussion, man,
yeah, take it seriously.
Yeah, take it super seriously.
Yeah.
And yeah, take your time. Take your time.
So, bro, we haven't even touched on King of the Ring. And I think in the order of sequence, the assault, concussion, and then basically heading into a fight camp.
No, there was unfortunately a couple things that happened before that too.
Oh, you've had a hell of a few months, man.
So another big issue, and like I said, I'm not gonna mention any names just for the sake of safety. Yeah. But obviously still concussed. Had to hang back. Saw all my mates go to like, obviously Northern Base, blah blah blah. Twisted Frequency in particular. I was pretty gutted that I missed out on Twisted, but hey, that's okay. There's always going to be another year. Took the time off for the concussion, and then on New Year's Day, I woke up to one of my childhood teenagehood friends, unfortunately, committing suicide. And just like the other subjects, it's such a big problem in New Zealand, and it's so common, especially as of late, especially in small towns. In this particular place, it was he was from Rotorua, and it was just such a big shock because obviously he was this guy that you wouldn't even think had thoughts like this, or you know, he was supposed to be a guy that everyone looked up to because he was. But where the problem is, particularly in New Zealand, is I think it's such a hard one because everyone has had someone that's done that deed. Literally, bro.
Literally. I don't know anyone who hasn't felt like the effects of suicide from either like a family member or a friend. And I've said the story a few times on the podcast, but yeah, I remember my mum used to have a photo of this guy on her fridge. And I remember growing up, because I'd never met him before. I was like, who's this guy you've got like on our fridge, mum? This was when I was like 5, and she like said who his name was, and I was like, wow, like where is he? And then I think she told me later in life that he like took his life, and it was like one of my mum's good mates. And I remember at that moment, I must have been, I don't know, early teenager, 13 or something, thinking consciously that will never happen to any of my mates. Like, how could you? How could one of a friend of mine or someone close to my circle ever do that? And then, yeah, when I was 18, one of my, I think 17, 18, rest in peace, one of my good mates, Sian, he took his life, and there's been, more since then as well. So
it's still going,
bro.
It's still going.
You're so right. Everyone has been affected by suicide, and I don't say that lightly.
No, and I think like we talked about before, is it a systematic issue? Maybe. Is it a person issue? Potentially. But it's just way too common in New Zealand for it not to be talked about enough, I think. You know, and obviously there are these things now like what's the bro called? The gumboot guy. Mike King, you know, holding it down. Yeah. Do you remember that one ad? I forget who it was. Sir someone, and he was like, it's like black and white ad, and he like swims, and he like jumps in and he's like, absolute depression is something.
Was it John Kerwin?
Yeah, that's his name. Sorry, I couldn't think of his name. You know, John Kerwin, you know, for especially those times and for the generation before us, where same things are still happening. So it's definitely an intergenerational thing that's happening in New Zealand, where I think it's just people don't, coming back to the topic before, people don't have the tools to go through those times when everything feels like it's closing in. Everything feels like the whole world feels like it's against you. So if the whole world's against you and you're against yourself too, or if you feel like the whole world's against you, but in reality, it's just yourself against you. How do you stop someone from feeling like that or feeling the need to escape from that? It's not an easy thing to navigate. And especially in this first world where we're literally at the height of everything. Social media-wise, influential-wise, war-wise, everything is happening right now. So when we have these wars in our mind, and without those tools to get us through that, where does that leave everyone? And I think like Lauren Hill said it the best, right? How are you going to win if you ain't right within? Like exactly that. Like, and I try and live by that. Because don't get me wrong, like prior to obviously November, I was in the worst mind state of my life of having those thoughts of just everything's too much. Is it my time? No, it's not. It's not. I think, you know, and life progresses, life happens, and it doesn't really hit you of how bad those thoughts are until someone you love does it. And then it's like, oh shit. That's the effect that it has on people. That's that feeling of what it's like to lose someone to suicide. Because that's not a good feeling. So for all my people that were in Rotorua, still feeling for them, still loving them, I'm always thinking about those guys, you know, like still holding it down, the person that was lost, like, crazy times.
I heard something once and I was like, suicide doesn't like stop the hurt, it just spreads it elsewhere. So you're actually stopping the pain, you're just passing it to other people. And I think it's definitely some truth in that. And I think it's tough, because everything passes, bro. Everything does. Like whatever you're feeling in that moment, it's not forever. It's and it's not saying that like diminishing those shitty feelings that, you know, if you got like suicidal ideation, you're like thinking about it. Those are real feelings. But I think, you've got to just see tomorrow, because like nothing is forever. That feeling, nothing is forever.
Nothing is forever. And especially this life is so limited. So limited, and you don't know that until someone you love is gone, man. As you know. So when people come, when people go, especially when people go into the next life, into the next realm, into the next reincarnation, whatever you believe, we just have to live for them now, because they live with us. They are part of us now. And just because they are gone doesn't mean they're gone, right?
Mm.
So yeah, that was how me and a lot of other people spent our New Year's. Unfortunately, was being in Rotorua, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was crazy. Yeah, it was my first time in Rotorua. Rotorua is wild, man. It's so cool. Yeah, such a beautiful place.
Yeah, it seems stunning. Yeah, it's yeah, fuck. And I didn't know the bro, but obviously a man that like held so much mana, and yeah, you could see that from what he achieved in a short span, and like the impact he had on many people, like not just in New Zealand but across the world. So yeah, it's devastating, man. It really is. And I think you've been through like a massive, from what it sounds like, a huge spiritual sort of journey, because yeah, you do hold a little piece of them from, like, you know, losing
Yes.
your someone in your
Whānau
whānau,
and friends.
and
Yeah.
then your mates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. And so, yeah, so that was a fucking huge eye opener of that time of, you know, tomorrow, obviously November, tomorrow is not promised. But then that was like, bro, tomorrow is not fucking promised, bro.
Nah.
Tomorrow doesn't exist. It literally does not exist. So anything can happen in that span of us being here right now, going to sleep and waking up to the morning. Anything can happen. So why should we have to live in a dumbass mindset that gets us down when tomorrow doesn't even exist? If that makes sense at all.
It does.
And yeah, so that was like a huge perspective change for me of, yeah, death is a very real thing, and it's not something we should shy away from, because it is a part of this human experience. And it can be, at times, it can be beautiful, because although, okay, yes, someone has passed, but especially in Māori culture, tangihanga brings people together.
Oh, it's, yeah, that in itself, like the Māori accustomed to like tangi and death and grief.
Yes.
Is I think so many cultures can learn from that.
Yes.
And yeah, I had, you know, a good mate of mine, Connor, pass away June last year. And it was just like, yeah, obviously devastating loss for all of us, you know, a medical event that just came out of nowhere. Fucking miss that guy, bro. Honestly, I think I had Jackson on the podcast, his older bro.
Yeah, bro.
And he just said,
I watched it.
Yeah, you know, and he summed up so well. He was like, you know, Connor just had that natural ability, you know, that buzz people get once they've had like 5 to 6 beers. They walk into that room, they've got confidence, and you know, everyone just clicks. Like, that's the energy that Connor would have, like 6 a.m.
Naturally,
on a Monday.
yeah.
Like, yeah, he was just an amazing guy, bro. But going back to like his tangi, you know, there was on the marae, like, yeah, I won't go into too many details because that might be sort of tapu, but yeah, just beautiful to spend that time with him. And like, yeah, it was, I don't know, just, it sort of reshaped, like, grief is horrible, but yeah, we were able to share so many awesome memories together, like, you know, sitting around him and just celebrating his life above all, and like being open and just fucking crying, and yeah.
I think it's what's so important about the whole process of tangihanga is that it's a process. It's that time of letting people have that time to feel however they want to feel, to be however they need to be, but to do that around people that they love, around people that they know, and can share that moment with. And yeah, staying on the subject, you know, obviously we'll touch on getting King of the Ring and whatnot, but in February, the exact same thing happened, but with someone else from the Kapiti Coast. And this, you know, obviously the demographic for suicides in New Zealand is men. But in this case, I'm not going to mention any names. I'm so sorry. I love you guys, but just for the safety of everyone, of myself, of this going on the internet, the exact same thing happened the exact same way, but she was female. And the exact same thing of them being such a ray of sunshine, so great to be around. You know, every time you feel that you have a connection with them, or an interaction rather, you come away like, yo, like, nah, yeah, this life is all good, you know? And then same with the bro at the start of the year, literally the same feelings. And then for them having those demons, like, so, you know, if it's could be a spiritual thing in New Zealand, you know, like it could be anything. It could be anything. But the reality is people carry demons, and they carry a lot of negative energy, even when they are on paper wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah.
Super nice,
Super
beautiful
loved.
being, soulful,
Yeah.
amazing, happy in all aspects, but still, unfortunately, the demons still can win, you know? So, and that was, that was in between, that was in a King of the Ring cap, so that was even crazier to have back-to-back moments like that of loss was, like you said, a very spiritual eye-opener. And I feel like I've done a lot of spiritual growth in these last 5 months because I've had to. Because a lot of people around me have had to too. Otherwise, we would have no choice. You know, like, sorry, we'd had no choice but to. Because this life is worth living, man. Yeah. We've got to fucking live it, bro.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying, like, you know, at the start of the year when I wasn't able to do it, I remember bussing back. I was there for like 2 weeks or something. I remember bussing back, and at this point, because obviously I was off work because of my concussion, and it was kind of like, man, I really want to go overseas, but I don't want to work. What do I do? And then I was like, I was kind of like looking for jobs on Seek, and I was like, bro, fuck this, man. I was like, bro, I don't want to fucking do any of these jobs, man. I just kind of want to fight. Like, I just want to fight. And then literally the next day, my coach called me, and he was like, hey, because we'd had the conversation, I wasn't a part of it, and then he was like, hey, they had to pull out, they want you.
This is King of the Ring.
Yeah, they had to pull out, Jason's called, they want you. And I was like, well, isn't this something? So, yeah, I felt like it was just obviously divine timing, because it was literally like me coming back, like, bro, I don't want to work, but I want to travel, and how can I do that? And then, next day, got the call up, and I was like, sweet, I guess it's only fitting. And I was still kind of recovering from the concussion, like the concussion hadn't worn off, so like for 3 out of 8 weeks, I was sparring. So I was only sparring for 3 weeks out of those 8 weeks. Just because, literally the tail end, so like the last 3 weeks or whatever it was. I think maybe it was 4, I can't remember. But yeah, so I was literally like not even sparring, not even wearing mouth guard, just like training, hitting pads, doing some bag drills and stuff. Still training, obviously. And then obviously we had to go up to Te Awamutu for that tangi, which was an even crazier experience than... Te Awamutu is a beautiful place. It was a beautiful... it was a beautiful time. Made so many awesome connections that I cherish until the day, until the day that I die, you know, just such beautiful connections that I've made lifetime friends, you know. So that in itself, I'm so glad that I took that time and still went, even though I was supposed to, you know, be in camp. But
100%. Yeah. I think whenever you have someone close to you that passes, bro, it's like, I always feel this. It's like you've got a new sense of like responsibility to like live up to your own potential.
Yes.
I feel that so strongly. Like with everyone close to me that, you know, isn't fortunate enough to be here right now, it is the best lesson in understanding that, you have an opportunity to like live for them and and sort of like take them on that journey as well.
Yes.
So,
with you.
And have you felt that sort of shift?
Yes.
After what you've gone through, bro?
Yes.
Like, do you feel,
particularly with my cousin.
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I'm sure a lot of my whānau feel the same of her watching over, man. Like, yep, she's a tipuna now, and it's a hard one to accept, bro. But you accept it nonetheless because she's still with us. Yep.
I'm proud of you, bro. I really am, eh? Really proud of you.
Yeah, bro.
It's what you've gone through in this past
5 months, bro.
Yeah, you
5 months.
5 months.
5 months, bro.
Most people probably wouldn't even go
All
through
cocked
that
up, yeah.
in their life, you know? You've had that so condensed in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
It's proud of the way you've sort of handled that and, you know, continued to just like live for them and carry on. It's like your resilience is incredible, brother. So proud of you, eh?
And then I guess for that reason of losing those 3 people, you know, King of the Ring was just like something for me. It was an escape in a way, because obviously it's still like it's something you can put all your focus in and not use that as motivation rather than what's the opposite of motivation? Discrimination. Nah, I don't think it is.
Cool. Cut back in.
Smoko's over.
Smoko's over. Longest podcast episode.
We love to hear it.
Got to make sure that we've still got batteries in the cameras.
Yes.
There's enough juice. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Bro, we were just touching on, I guess, after the shit storm of the last 5 months that you've had, how were you framing the upcoming challenge in your mind of King of the Ring? Like, what did being on that show mean to you? Like, how were you psychologically sort of preparing yourself for that challenge?
I guess it was kind of a hard camp to navigate because of everything going on. But I just felt like it was right. And I felt like it was my time. And obviously, like, I'd been working towards that for the last... Because I missed out on... Oh, another thing we fucking didn't touch on, when I tore my Achilles.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Bro. But, long story short, I tore my Achilles, missed out on the 75 one. So that was fine. That was okay. I just sat at home and fucking watched it. I think it was on crate day, so it was fine. It was fine. And so I fought in King of the Ring in 2022. So it was 3 years. It was 3 years, missed out, and then fought again. So I was like, no, I've got to be a part of this. Like, this is why I've literally been training for the last 5 years. You know, particularly for kickboxing. And I was feeling real good. I felt like the best shape of my life, spiritually, physically, and mentally. I was still taking like shortcuts here and there in terms of the truth of vaping, smoking. You know, just around obviously people that are. It's hard not to, especially when you are going through things like that. And you trying to find any escape you can. That's not fucking anything too hard, I guess. And so I was still training at an insane pace, but still holding myself back in some ways where looking at it, sure, but everything happens the way it does. So it's fine. For me, it's fine. And I honestly I was feeling like I was in the best shape of my life. I liked the lineup. The lineup was fucking awesome.
Crazy lineup.
Crazy lineup. Like, bro, literally the best in the country, if not the world. Okay? And
more stacked than UFC 300.
Yeah.
It was on.
And it was a crazy night, crazy experience, as per usual. Came up against a Hamilton bad boy, Picquiao. And, Picquiao title. And he's one big-ass motherfucker, bro. He's
how
so
tall is he,
tall,
bro?
He was
massive.
like, he was way taller than I thought he was going to be. Like, bro, he must be like 6'2".
Hey.
Yeah, I reckon.
Taller
6'3".
than me?
Yeah, definitely. And maybe not 6'3". Yeah, maybe like 6'2", 6'2". And I was doing good. Up until the third round, where obviously I had my nose broken in November, and he hit. I was like at the start of the third round, first fight, and he hit the exact sweet spot that the bro hit me in November.
Mm.
And my nose was just bleeding profusely, and it was quite sore. It was very sore. When you have your nose broken twice in the space of, at that time, I think it was like 2.5 months, it doesn't feel very nice, and it definitely throws you off a little bit. So coming back, and obviously it was such a Hundies fight. That first fight, I was just like, nah, fuck, like, bro, we're here.
The pace
Yeah,
that you had,
man,
and like listening to like the commentators as well, they're just basically saying that like the pace Corin is coming out with.
Yes.
Can he sustain it? And
yes,
absolutely, you could. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think fitness has never really been an issue. I think for that, just because I had so much time off.
Yeah.
I'd fought Saran in September, I think it was, and it was like literally the exact same fight, split decision loss or whatever it was. And me and Picquiao fought, awesome fight. So much respect for that guy. Obviously, like, one of the best in the country, deserves to be there. So it was good to solidify that I'm supposed to be there after that fight. But then having my nose broken wasn't very nice. Like, pretty much no injuries apart from that.
I think really quickly as well, for people that aren't familiar with King of the Ring, basically it's is it eight-man tournament? Eight-man tournament, and you fight up to three fights.
3 fights, yep.
Yeah.
3 fights for the winners. Yep.
And so if you win, if you make the final, 3 fights in one night. Three
rounds, 3 3-minute rounds.
3 3-minute rounds.
And then if it goes to draw, they go an extra round. So there has to be a winner. So if there's no winner, then it goes a 4th round. And sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. And especially with something like that on the night, it's anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And for me in particular, I had a Hundies first fight. Probably went a little bit too hard. Didn't really think about slowing down at any points, just because I was like, bro, you need to treat every fight like it's your last.
Yeah, what's the game plan going into King of the Ring?
Treat every fight like it's the final. So it's just me.
So that means going, and you have to do that, right? Because you got so many more fights ahead.
Because every fight is the final.
How does that change like a regular fight where you've got to be? Are you more conservative around your gas tank?
Probably. I probably should have been, yeah. In hindsight, yeah, I probably fucking should have been a bit more strategic about it, but you're just so in the moment, and you're so like the presence, the feeling, the adrenaline, the dopamine, the fucking everything that you've got going in your brain, the fucking everything. You're just so hyped up. Everyone's watching. Obviously, it's live streamed. People are tuning in. The whole country's tuning in. Everyone's watching. And you're just like, you're just like, let's go. This is the best shit ever. Like, and so for me, I probably, coming back, obviously won the first and second round. Third round, I can't really remember what my coach was telling me now. Looking back at it, I can't remember shit of what my coach was telling me. Yeah. I think it was more just like, just do what you're doing and you've got this. Yeah. And then, just a rogue right hand came out of nowhere and it hit the sweet spot on my nose and it turned my nose a little bit sideways. And still got the win on a prestigious guy. And then you come back, you wait like an hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah, talk like
your adrenaline dump.
Yeah, talk us about the in between time that you have, because I think that's what nobody sees. But I think a lot of people who watch King of the Ring want to understand what is actually happening behind the scenes, and how do you feel as a fighter during that time? Yeah, like how are you recovering? Yeah, what are you telling yourself mentally? Yeah, shine some light into that, bro.
Straight into the iso shin straight away. As soon as you're finished, feet up, elevate, rise your legs, just because your lactic acid hasn't hit yet, but it's about to. And so you're just trying to stop the lactic acid getting to your muscles, essentially. But you can't. And so once you've got all of that hype, and then 9 minutes gone, 9 minutes done, come out the back, all of that's gone. And now, in a normal circumstance, you're done for the night. That's you. You can go have some fun.
It's crazy.
But for guys that are in King of the Ring, you got that adrenaline dump. And then you got to pick that back up again. And you got to go make that walk again and so essentially you got to keep the warm up the same. You got to work. You don't know because you only know who you're gonna fight in the quarterfinals. You don't actually know who you're gonna get in the semis. So in my head, the whole week, I thought I was gonna get Picquiao, Daniel Ruanga, and then Saran in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
But Ja said, God said, nah, you're gonna have Saran in the fucking semifinals. And it was a banger fight. I was obviously a little bit compromised with my nose, which was a bit unfortunate for me. But at the end of the day, looking back at it, it was just a crazy time, a crazy performance, and you can only try as best as you can with the cards you've been dealt with. And like I said, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who you're going to get. Anything can happen, so you just have to adapt as best as you can. And hey, I tried my best. And for Saran to do what he did on that night, obviously he had a crazy final. And so all props to him. And, that was his night. That was his night. But yeah, the adrenaline dump for me was pretty fucking scary. Just because it was like, damn, I just had a crazy fight and now I have to go out and fight another crazy cunt. And he's even more crazier, and I know what the fight's going to be like because I've already fought him before. Yeah. And it was literally exactly the same. Ain't nothing changed, bro. Ain't nothing changed. And, looking back at it, sure, I could have done this different. Could have, thrown this kick there, but I didn't. And he just was the better person on the night. And that's okay. And that's okay.
Do you have any regrets about your strategy leading up to any of those fights?
Yes and no. Honestly, if it wasn't for my nose being compromised going into King of the Ring already, I already had a shitty nose, right? I didn't let it heal. So I knew that was the risk I was taking, but I took it anyways. So I just accepted it. I was like, fuck, okay, I got a broke ass nose. I'm going into the second fight. Fuck it. Who cares? Put it all out there. Try your best and then fucking silicone the rest or whatever they say, So, and then, yeah, me and Saran, we went 3 rounds as per usual, usually do.
That guy is just like a monster.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so funny because he's not that tall. He's not that big, but he's just
He's thick.
Yeah, he's just super thick and he can hit hard, man. He can hit real hard. And, so it was a crazy experience and I feel like I grew from it a lot. And, you want things to work out the way you want it. But like I said, Ja, he's like, nah, it's gonna be like this and you just have to adapt to it.
Bro, why do you think you're a fighter?
Bro, I got no fucking idea, bro.
What attracts you? What attracts you to that lifestyle of being a fighter, bro? What is it about fighting that you get passion, enjoyment, challenge, discipline from? Keen to hear your thoughts. What is that for you?
I think it's ever changing. It's ever growing. One day you're like, bro, it's such a wild ride because 1 minute you're up here and then quite literally the next you're the polar opposite. It is the most bipolar sport to ever exist. And obviously all sports are pretty bipolar, but it's just such a highest of highs, lowest of lows, as the saying goes that everyone says. But I think for me, why I do it is if I didn't have that tool or that output that I have, I would be such a depressed piece of shit. I would be so... I need that release in terms of a good session, a good, heavy session. There's nothing better to me than that, of just pushing yourself to the absolute limits for the sake of pushing yourself to the absolute limits. And I've been told, undiagnosed, but I've been told that I'm quite ADHD.
You don't say. Really?
It's
surprising.
Yeah. And I ain't got no pills for that, man. So I just... Just straight raw dogging it all the way to fucking death, I guess. But sorry, team. PG. And yeah. So for me, it is just somewhere that I can put my heart, my passion, and everything on the line, and not have to stress about anything else in the world that's going on right now, apart from me, the mat, and what's happening right in front of me. There's no better presence, as you know, with your jiu-jitsu journey, right? Because you're a blue belt now, yeah?
Say it again. Nah.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Bro, that's a big task, man. Like, I honestly think the hardest belt to get is that blue belt, and especially for someone that's, you know, for me, I started jiu-jitsu when I was 12 years old. So it's always been a part of my life. It's always been there for me. You know, it's always been tucked away, even if I don't necessarily train, I'm still rolling. I'm still fucking just having some fun, right? It's a super good release. And it's a way you can push yourself to your absolute limits and still not necessarily get hurt, if that makes sense. Like, you can obviously still get hurt, but
it's a lot more controlled.
And it's just a tap away from it stopping, right? Like, whereas something like, I don't know, CrossFit. Not to dog on CrossFitters. We love them. But, you know, there's so many, like, it's such an injury-prone thing. But
even
anything.
fighting, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, it's
so much more unpredictable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's that release, it's that output of having to have that built up energy that you've got in a ball, and then once your session's done and you've pushed yourself to the absolute limit, that ball's released, and you feel like a peace, just something about it. There's something about it that's, I guess it's spiritual. I feel like it's spiritual. It's a spiritual release of having to just have those emotions put somewhere that's a safe environment. So maybe coming back to what the tools are is, you know, if you feel like you are such a frustrated person, if you feel like you are angry and you don't have anywhere to put that, join a martial arts club.
Yeah, you need an outlet, say.
You need an outlet.
Yeah.
It's sometimes people don't want to run. That's fine. Running's lame, bro. Running's a meditation, okay? Like, sure, okay, it's fun if you're good at it, but building up to there, it's boring as. It's like, you know, it feels like there's nothing worse than running, right? Until you actually, like, put the time in, put the Ks in, you're like, okay, wow, runner's high. This is amazing. Yeah. But whereas where you're in a gym with other people surrounding you doing the exact same thing you're doing, you're looking around like, wow, there's so many good guys around me, but then there's also so many bad, there's so guys that are
different levels,
of all walks of life. No matter who you are dependent on, once you walk into that gym, onto those mats, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. And I think it's that what's so important about it is the presence, and you are completely present into that one moment, right? So if you're angry, if you're frustrated, if you feel like you've got nothing to live for, go do some fucking jiu-jitsu, man.
100%, bro. Best therapy. And I think, especially with martial arts, like, there's no better way to also just honestly humble yourself. Like, you might think that you are the man and you're tough and you're strong and you're a good fighter, but until you and if you do jiu-jitsu, until you roll with someone, or unless you spar with someone, like, you'll learn pretty quickly that you're not all that you thought you were. And it's just such a good mirror. And just, I don't know, I feel like every fighter I've met, or someone who practices martial arts, just has that humbleness about them. Most of them, not all of them, obviously. And they don't need to, like, show off anything, because they know what they're capable of deep down inside. They got nothing to prove.
Exactly that. And yeah, man.
So you said why you're a fighter. Then why do you compete?
I guess growing up, I saw the UFC on TV when I was like 7 years old, right? And I was like, what is this? I was like, this is the most craziest thing ever. Can I do this? And I was like, oh, I can do this. why won't I do this? And then so for me, it's always been, I don't know. I guess it's just, I honestly can't put it down to why I love it so much. I just do. And I just trust that it will lead me somewhere. And so far it has. So far it has. The highs and the lows, the losses in particular, like you feel the losses more than you feel the wins, right? Like, and I've lost, and that's okay. But as long as you keep getting up and you keep trying to better yourself, you're a winner, bro. You're a champion.
Yeah, it's because I feel like you could get the same sense of satisfaction, or maybe a type of it, if you just trained, right? If you just sparred and like lived that lifestyle of a competitive athlete but never competed. But I think when I look at like your career and journey, bro, is like the energy that you get to put yourself into positions of like the unknown and to like really challenge yourself. And I think martial arts is that sport. It's yes, you are fighting another man, but it's really you versus you out there. It's it's so much more than like just lacing up against someone else. So what like attracts you to that fear or that risk? Because for so many, like, you're such an anomaly, bro. Like so many people in any face of like adversity or challenge, or putting themselves out into a platform where they could become a meme or, you know, potentially be humiliated. Most people, the thought of that is like, there's not even a chance I'm even going to consider that as an option for something I'm going to do. Why do you follow that route where so many other people go left where you go right?
I guess it's that, like you said, it's that unknown. And it's like, when you don't know what's going to happen, how do you know what happens? You don't know until it happens, right? So I think it's definitely that, and just that little, you know, like it puts hairs on your fucking chest of just being like, oh, what's going to happen, man? I don't know. But then you visualize it, you know, and you try and I guess, manifest it in a way. Visualization and manifestation goes hand in hand, obviously. And you see it in your brain's eye, your mind's eye, and you're like, wow, no, okay, that can happen, and that will happen. And it's worked out more times than it hasn't, that it has happened the way I thought it would. And I think it's that, yes, you can imagine it in your mind's eye, but sometimes the way you imagine it in your mind's eye goes the completely other way. And I think that's what attracts me so much, is because anything can happen. And just that, I guess that dopamine, that rush of anything can happen, but you still coming out on top is probably what makes me compete and want to be the best version of myself. You know, whether that be, I know for a fact, put it like this, King of the Ring was the first time, after I lost the second fight, it was the first time ever I came back and broke down, like tears, ever. And I think I've lost 4 or 5 times now, and it was my first, and it was including the 1 minute fight 6 times or whatever the fuck. And that was my first time ever breaking down after losing, because of how much it meant for me. But it's okay to have that moment. And maybe it was like that for 10, 15 minutes of solid fucking tears. And then you just laugh it off. Because it's not that serious. Like, sure, okay. Bro, you tried your best. You trained your best. If I know how good I am, and I know how I stand in myself. So if someone beats me, they must be pretty fucking good, man. So no matter what, going into the fight, I know that afterwards I'm still loved. I know that afterwards I'm still safe. I've still got a bed to go into. I've still got running water in my house. I've still got a shower that I can go to. Food in my belly. So for me, it's gladiator shit, bro.
It's a crazy lifestyle, man.
It's a crazy lifestyle.
So
So you only live this life once, bro. So you might as well go down fucking swinging, man.
Yeah. So what are you most proud of across your career so far, bro? What's like any things that stand out to you if you reflect back, I guess, on kickboxing and leading up to King of the Ring?
I think especially these last 3 years since me being last year on episode number 9, since then a lot of negative shit has happened. You know, obviously, like I touched on my Achilles tear. A lot of other things in my personal life has happened. But I think even when all of this still happens, if you can continue to show up to the gym and continue to show up to fights at what feels like your best of the capabilities that you have, the best of that you can do with the cards that you've been dealt with, as long as you still show up, that to me is what solidifies someone, and that's what solidifies myself. You can have so much shit going wrong in your life, but as long as you keep showing up, no matter what it is, you keep showing up for yourself, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah. So what does the future look like for you, bro? Like what sort of life do you want to create from fighting? What does the next sort of 5 years look like? Are you going to stay doing kickboxing? Are you going to pivot to MMA? What does the future behold, brother?
Well, I've only had one MMA fight. Well, technically 2, but that was that Arsenal X against Saran. And that was like a gimmick fight. It was like right. That I personally don't count that fight because it was pretty random. But still, Arsenal X, big shout outs to Arsenal X, awesome guys. You know, still doing it. And bro, like I said, like at the start of the year, I said this year I'm taking the holiday mindset into the year, and so far it's worked for me. So honestly, I haven't thought a week ahead of myself. Bro, 5 years is too long, man. What about now? Let's think about now, bro. Let's think about now. So I think especially is just being present, man, and just, just trying to stay present as much as possible, which is hard. It's hard. It's hard to do. Yeah, it's such a hard thing to do, especially with just everyday life, bills, payments, blah, 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 X and X. But yeah, just staying present, I think, and especially for these next 5 years. Yeah, I've had enough of the old 10 ounces. I've had enough of 10 ounces, and I got my fix again with those 4 ounces over in Thailand. So you never know what could happen from here. But all this time, since 7 years old, I've been wanting to be a cage fighter. Even before it was I wanted to be a cage fighter before it was even called mixed martial arts, before it was MMA, So it only feels right that I get some cage time in, I think. But
what are those big promotions in New Zealand? Like if the goal is UFC, what's the route to get there?
Don't ask me, brother. I've got no idea, brother. I've got no idea.
Is it like, what's the big...
It's so hard in New Zealand because there's such limited fights.
Yeah.
And it's such a... now that it's kind of getting bigger, and the sport in particular, especially in New Zealand, obviously, is getting bigger. There's more promotions coming. But apart from, 2 years ago, the only MMA promotion was Shuriken, which I fought on. I have fought on Shuriken back then. Like, I think I was like 17 or 18 at the time. And so there really is only Shuriken. It's more, I think you have to break into that Australia bracket. Yeah. So, but like I said, so much shit has been happening in these last 5 months. So it's just this time to bring it back down a little bit and just live life. Still obviously training to fight, but just chill out a little bit. I've had my nose broken 3 times in the last 5 months, so just got to let that calcify a little bit.
Do you need surgery on it? Or
nah. And yeah. So just live for today, man, because tomorrow is not promised.
100%. Yeah, I think that's the core sort of message that we've had throughout this entire korero, bro. It's like what you said, tomorrow actually doesn't exist. And it doesn't.
No. Until it does. And that's today.
This has officially been our longest episode ever, which is pretty cool, bro.
Woo!
About 2 hours in the studio.
Damn,
So,
bro. Damn, really?
Yeah, about an hour 55-ish, which is pretty sick. But
wow.
Yeah, just want to say, man, like super proud of how I'm super proud of how you carry yourself. Proud of who you are as like a friend, and yeah, I'll always be in your corner, bro. I'll always be
Vice versa, Noah.
your number one fan.
And especially like we've kind of touched on already, like from episode 9 to episode 64, the amount of guys and girls that you've been getting in to talk has been like outstanding. You like, it's not even just randoms. It's like people that have actually solidified themselves in New Zealand, not only as athletes, not only as businesses, but just as great Kiwis. And I think it's such a important thing. Like, bro, is this like the only podcast in Wellington right now? Or
Nah, there's definitely quite
well, they don't fucking matter, bro. This is the only podcast in Wellington that matters right now. Okay?
Damn right.
So if you're not listening to Beyond the Surface, you need to
missing
check
out.
yourself, all right?
I should just drop the biggest like fuck you to all of the
Bro,
podcasts.
nah, fuck 'em, bro.
Down the camera, I'm calling you out. Nah, they're probably all doing way better than I am in terms of downloads and stuff.
Nah, but
that's
I
a
don't think
real
they're getting in
opportunity.
the quality of guests that you have been getting on is so crazy, bro. And just to be able to sit down and have a genuine chat with people and make them human is not an easy task. Like, you know, it's hard to navigate between an interview and a conversation, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to see your growth over the episodes, because I try and tune in, you know, like to, like, I think the last one that I did tune into was, I think the Brett McKenzie one.
Yeah,
So that was crazy. Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
wild.
And then the last one that I truly did like really like tune into was that Ruben Love one, like the Ruben one. Yeah.
Bro.
So that was great.
Yeah.
But no, it's so awesome to see your
appreciate
mahi,
that,
bro.
man. Thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
for real. So it's crazy, bro, and it's only up from here. Like, we've just got to be on the surface, man. So we're gonna fucking shoot for the stars soon, yeah.
Love it, bro. Nah, it's been an awesome journey, and yeah, I get so much, like, obviously not doing this for money, but I get so much intrinsic joy and satisfaction for, you know, actually having these like sit downs where you're not distracted by your phone and you're actually talking to your mates or like really interesting people. Because I feel like it's quite hard to have those conversations almost without this facilitated space.
Yes.
Yeah, man. No, really enjoying it. It's good to have Shanae on
Big up, Shanae. Big
behind the
ups.
camera. So yeah, that couldn't be possible without everyone's support.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, bro. Just want to say a massive thanks for opening up. I know we touched on like
Some pretty hardy stuff.
some really
but
heavy stuff.
It's the truth, bro. It's the
100%.
truth. And you can't shy away from the truth, even when it's hard.
Yep.
And hey, I've been in times where I haven't told the truth, and I've obviously learned from those mistakes. But go forward in truth.
But yeah, thanks for speaking about them, bro. Because I know they're uncomfortable. Like when you're speaking about losing a loved one, especially how sensitive that is. Like that's not an easy thing to talk about.
No.
Even if there was no cameras, all of this shit here,
Yeah.
like that's hard to bring up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just want to say thanks for like doing that, bro. As people will probably listen, we're not experts in this stuff, but
No.
can only speak about, you know, especially your lived experience, man, and I'm sure it'll resonate to a lot of people. So yeah, thanks, brother.
Thank you, my bro.
Before we go, where can people keep in touch with you and your mahi, brother? We'll chuck a link in the description.
Bro, honestly,
On the TikTok?
Yeah, nah, I don't got no TikTok, man. I don't fucking scroll like that.
Don't
Shit.
brain rot.
Yeah, just Instagram, Corin.Himaida. Yeah, that's it. My Facebook's kind of personal, so I probably won't.
Don't have me as a
Yeah,
friend.
I probably won't add you back, bro. But honestly, yeah, now that it's kind of like all starting to come together, I'm like starting to like shy away from it more. I don't know, just because it's a buzzy one, bro. It's a real buzzy one, and especially just because it's, I don't know, just life on camera compared to life in real life
Yeah.
are two completely different things.
Yeah.
So just trying to stay a little bit more personal, I guess. But Corin.Himaida, that's my Instagram.
Slide in the man's DMs.
Please do not.
Here's some sunnies from
what?
awesome sponsors, Moana Road. Those
Oh,
are all
yo.
yours, bro. You've already done these questions before,
Okay.
but we'll run them again. I still feel like you've got the best response to one of these.
Okay.
And it was what's the main thing holding back young people? I think you said vapes.
Yeah.
So
Bro,
Corin,
these are polarized. Let's go. What the heck?
what brings you true happiness?
Seeing my friends succeed
What is
and
the-
being there when my friends succeed, and vice versa for my friends being there when success comes.
what is the meaning of life?
I'm just gonna do the classic: love your loved ones. To love your loved ones, therefore you love yourself.
Advice you wish you knew about when you were younger?
Sorry, my mind went 1,000 places, but we'll keep it PG. And that's probably I would say, what was the question again?
Advice you wish you knew about when you were younger?
Oh, yep. The advice that I wish I knew when I was younger is fuck. What have you got?
What's my advice?
Yeah. That you wish you knew when you were younger.
Probably take more risks.
Oh, yeah, okay.
More risks.
Yeah, take more risks.
Yeah.
I think shit, man. I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Nah, fuck. I'm sorry. Damn.
We'll finish with this one.
Okay.
What do you believe is the main thing that is holding back young people?
TikTok.
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 TikTok and vapes.
Yeah, TikTok, vape, and probably Reels, Instagram, brain rot.
Very true, man.
Yep.
We'll leave with this quote from David Goggins,
Oh.
the man himself. There's purity in physical pursuits because it doesn't matter what your social status is, how people perceive you. It's how long you can stay in the pool, how far you can run. In the real moments, what matters is how true you are to your words.
Fuck yes.
Yes, bro.
Carry it in boats.
Always
Give me a
big
hug,
one.
Noah.